What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Knights of Teleria stream. Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful Sunday, and thank you for joining us. Today on the show, guys, we have a lot of new people coming in lately, and we got a lot of old ones coming too. And, let's just get into it. First and foremost, we have the guy right next to me, Mr. JR Star 3. Jay, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. It's been an exhausting week for me, but I'm finally free of it.
Okay. Next to you, we have, for the first time on the channel, Mr. Hordscope. Hordscope, how you doing?
Horde Sport.
Horde Sport. And I was practicing it for a while. We were doing
You were
that
saying it
off the
correctly
stream.
the whole time too.
How are
And
you
now you're
doing?
like, "What's your horoscope?"
You know what? Maybe we
Everything's
should
going
just
well.
rename you
Can't
Horoscope. I
complain.
think that might be easier.
Horoscope.
Horoscope. Let's go with that.
Yeah, everything's good. Got a lot of input on these mythical things, so just waiting to get to that, and some interesting thoughts going around in my head at the moment that I'm ready to let out.
All right. Next to you, we have Mr. Gestal Gaming. Gestal, how are you, sir?
Doing great, BLAZIN. How you doing, buddy?
Doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. Right above you, we have Mr. FinalKenpachi. Kempachi, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for the asking. How about you guys? Thanks for the having me again, second time. Appreciate it.
Love having you on the channel, man. Love having you on. And then last but not least, I know you guys love the dynamic that we have. It's like a married couple. We just, never leave anything off the table. Mr. Nacho. Nacho, how are you doing, sir?
I am doing fantastic. I hope everyone is enjoying their fusions.
Whoever's doing them, right? But, so today we are going to have a lot of things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some Wukong, meta changing champion. We've had some time to play test them, so we'll see, what everybody thinks about that. We'll recap a little bit on the fusion because I think it's a little bit of a dicey one. There's a real big split on the community of who's going to do it and not. And then we're going to touch up on the big bomb drop that Plarium gave us on Friday or Saturday, yesterday. Mythical champions, or was it Friday? One of the two. But all right, so let's ask. Let's get off with the question of the week, right, for the content creators. And this week's question is, what is your favorite color, and has it always been the same? We'll throw this one to Nacho first.
Purple. And yeah, I've always loved purple.
Okay.
None of that light purple stuff though. Don't be
Just like a nice dark purple.
real like a royal purple. Come on now.
Okay.
Like Grimace.
Yes, like Grimace.
All right. Jay, what about you?
Green. I think it's just it's really I have always this battle between blue and green, but green always wins. For me personally, maybe it's just my sign, but ever since I was a kid, I just like seeing green things. It always made me feel good. Some people say it's because of money or this thing, but it honestly just represents life and just new beginnings, right? Spring comes, everything turns green again. So I don't know. For me, that's just been my favorite color ever since I was a kid.
Okay. I get that. Let's go with Gestal. What about you?
Blue. It's always been blue since I guess as long as it's something I've tracked. But like a Tar Heel blue, like a lighter blue kind of.
Okay.
That's what I like.
All right. Let's go with Kempachi.
Black. It's been always black, I think. I mean, I love more colors now. On my teenager years, I've been on the black. I dye my room like black, literally. So, but right now I'm enjoying more colors, but still black. Biggest
Okay.
color of the universe, right? Space is black, so.
Very true. All right, let's see if I can get this right. Horde Spore.
There you go.
All right. What about you?
I don't know. I kind of like red, black, green, blue. It depends on the type of day or what I'm doing, I guess. But mostly, I would go towards darker colors because they're easier to mess with, I guess.
Okay. Okay. For myself, ever since I was a young kid, I don't know how many people know, but I am Greek, and the two colors that the Greek flag is white and blue, and so I always loved the color blue. And that was pretty much about it. Um, except when my cousin's around and I tell him I love the color red because there's two major soccer teams in Greece, Olympiacos and Panathinaikos, and he's Panathinaikos, which is a green, and I always bug him and tell him that I'm Olympiacos, which is red, but that's a different story. All right, so let's lead off into the first topic of the day, which is the fusion, right? We've had a lot of different opinions of the fusion, right? He seems to be good for, looks like early to mid game and game players, not so much. But what are your thoughts on the fusion? Let's start with Kempachi first.
Fusion is really good. Especially if you guys need help on the Hydra, like you have a loss of the special ability, like Taunt, deck restoration of the buff, decrease speed, protecting your team with daily protection and the increased defense. They are like all of them is really good for the Hydra. Like for some people are using like one specific champion just for the decrease speed. That champion doing nothing else beside that. This champion have lots of them, but I skipping him because I literally need to skip something because I want to save my resources. But if he was like looking nice girl instead of the boy, I will definitely get him just for the looks.
Okay. I mean, aesthetics wise, he does look great.
Yep, he's looking good.
I think they really banged it off with not he's not a Chun-Li. Let's get that right.
No, definitely not. You have to save resources for the Chun-Li, looks like.
But yeah. All right. Let's go Nacho next. What about you? What do you think?
Fusion's amazing, honestly. Covering that many boxes for Hydra is it's so good. The increased defense and ally protect, so he's gonna save your whole team, decrease speed, and then he's also got the provokes on the A1. Like, slam dunk, honestly. Covering that many boxes is all you really need to do to make a viable champion. So, the fact that he does that many is great. And then I actually put him at now the fifth best booster, maybe. It's kind of tight between him and Speed Manipulator. He doesn't boost. But yeah, really happy with him.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going for it on both accounts. I feel like it'd be a big help for my free-to-play. As Nacho just said, certainly covers a lot of bases. I don't really have a champ like this on my free-to-play. I mean, I feel like he's a little similar to like Vizix, but I think he brings a little bit more almost, which is kind of crazy because Vizix doesn't have a passive and he's got a pretty strong passive. So I'm going for it on both counts. I go for everything on the main account. I feel like there's been too many times where a champ came out and you'd be like, damn it, I don't have that champ. I can't do something. So when they give you the opportunity to get one, I just go for it.
Okay. All right. Hordespore, what about you?
We're talking about the current one that's already out, right? Or that's
Strategios Island.
I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying that it's kind of bad that you have to do both shard pulls in order to get it. I didn't do the math, but I'm assuming it's true. And if it's anything else other than a high elf, I might actually go for it. But since there's already like 8 fusions in high elves, like I'm thinking about just passing it. Like leave high elves alone. I'm thinking. Like we got 6, 7, 8 fusion frag champs already in high elves.
Okay. Yeah, we've had a couple of them. We've had Lunatharl, Supreme Elhane, Datura. So Aethel, yeah. Aethel isn't in high elves.
She was a frag champ, right?
Elhane is.
Elhane is not Not Adrian.
Elhain, yeah.
Elhain.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have free champions
Elhain,
in there
that's what I
too.
mean.
You have Yannicka, which you got for free. Arbiter, you got for free. Deliano, you got for free. So it feels like the faction isn't very difficult, anyways.
Yeah.
Right, it's like, do I really want another high elf? It's like, I don't have the shards to pull it. I mean, I could buy it, but like, do I really need it? I don't think so. I mean, I have Chris trying to double almost everything.
Well, you know, the best high elf fusion that they've ever put out there is Pixneal, so no arguments with that. Mr. JR Star 3, what about you, sir?
So a few reasons why I'm going for this fragment summon. One, I have this tendency whenever they release a new champion to pull it through a shard. So that means I'm going to get another copy of this guy. It happened with Great Hoof. It happened with Jetney. It didn't happen with Newt, which made me sad. But I actually got some other Legos instead of second Newt. But I actually like them. What I talked about in my video, what we talked about last time I was here, when we talked about like what his stats could be. I actually, everything, when you look at the base stats, everything's good. I asked for extra resistance, they put that there. I asked us for free accuracy because he has the A1 and the A2, it's there. I asked for more than 100 base speed because normally defensive champions get like 96, 97, 98. They gave him more, because he's probably high elf. And then he has really good base defense on top of the HP as well. So statted in just turned base stats, he's amazing. Then when you look at his kit, I mean, he's like people are saying Visix clone or like other ally protectors like Verse of the Grim, stuff like that. But I'm like, yeah, but you have all of it in one, and he has a passive. And he has an aura. Like, so you just have more usability overall. I'm actually this might be the first champion ever that I actually might build out past the diminishing returns. And I'm going to do something special about that. But yes, I'm definitely going for this fragment summon.
Okay. Before we get into mine, Jay, I just want to say, this isn't you right now. I thought this was you.
No, unfortunately, that's not.
Sorry, I thought this was you.
Yeah, 8 newts. 8 newts.
Yeah,
The one
really,
+4.
That's crazy.
I saw that earlier. I was like, what the? I was like,
I really
almost
thought this
that
was
fake.
you, since you have a habit of pulling. But hey, did you pull a Duke Brogni yet?
No, because I haven't had one yet. If I had one, I would have pulled a dupe one. So thank you for reminding me.
All right. Yeah, so for myself, so far the only fusion that I've skipped since I started playing was Great Hoof Loriaka, and honestly, nothing for me to cry about, right? But this one, I figured there's definitely the kit's so interesting that there's gonna be something that's coming out that we're gonna need him for, right? So I decided, if I missed it, I missed it. I wasn't gonna really go heavy in on it, but I am doing it both on my account and Steven's. So we'll see how it goes. I probably won't go all out. I may just book him to do some playtesting, but that's really much about it. Real quick, let me acknowledge some of the chat here. Welcome Ogre to the stream. Welcome Being Useless, also known as Blaze It Up, to the stream. Thank you guys for joining us. All right, so everybody's basically going for it. Now, do you guys agree with the sentiment that, he's not somebody that, is going to be account changing for, mid game to or late game to end game? Most people are saying that he's a early game champion. Do you guys think that that's going to be true? Do you think it's just the early game and the mid game as opposed to the end game and late game players that are going to be using this? Jay, we'll start with you first.
No, and the reason why I'm actually building him, a lot of people know that I'm kind of like stuck on, well, not stuck, but like I one key brutal now, but it's now time for me to move on to Nightmare, right? So this is going to be a champion. I saw him and I was like, perfect. He brings decreased speed. He has the provokes for the decay. He has that amazing passive, and then I might be able to build him differently like I've been building out Snittrack. People keep wondering why I keep building damage on ally protectors, right? But it worked on him because of the passive and other stuff. So I'm actually might build this champion very high defense and some damage. So he's kind of bringing a little bit of damage, but also being a defensive champion as well, like a controller. But he's also going to have that passive. So he's like filling 3 roles for 1. I don't have that many champions. I'd have to drop or re-gear someone from like a different difficulty when I could just go for this champion, build a champion once, ready for Nightmare, and boom. I only have to bring out 5 other champions, or probably 4. because most of one of them is probably going to be like an enemy max, damage champion. But that's another reasons why I'm going for him. So I definitely think that's not true. Most players, of course, are going to be mid to late game. So yeah, they look at him and they're like, oh, he's support. He's not something special. No enemy max, no newt, no emic. So like whatever, and that's fine. And if people want to skip it, they can skip it. But I'm not doing it. So.
Okay, so do you think it's going to be more beneficial for early game, mid game, or late game, end game?
I wouldn't say end game. I would say definitely late game. But like if you have really good gear, you can push any champion even further beyond. We already know that, right? So I think he's mid to late.
Mid to late. Okay. Horde4, what about you?
I mean, I agree. I wouldn't see using them like you're not going to use them in like Shogun 25s or anything difficult like that, but would for sure like use for damage base to keep everybody else alive and help everybody else pretty much what you need to do in earlier stages. But I don't really see it going any further than hard mode or anything like that.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
I mean, you could be using them in Hydra. I think high resist, keep your guys alive, decrease speed. Hopefully, get the provoke on the A1. So I don't know, wherever you put Hydra, I think Hydra's kind of end game, late game. If you're putting a Nightmare Hydra team like JR Star, I mean, I feel like that's late game, end game stuff definitely. So. And then any early game accounts, I mean, obviously he brings so much, he's going to help you definitely, in some sort of progression, maybe even like Doom Tower or something. So I think across the spectrum, man, I'm going for it on both accounts, like I said. And he might get used on both accounts, so.
Okay. Kempachi, what about you?
He's definitely, I agree with the Jay and the Gestal and the Horrid. Not early game. I mean, early game you can also use him. Obviously, book is gonna be issue, but he's a late mid game. I mean, there is nothing wrong to use this champion on your Nightmare Hydra. I got lucky I have a Chris, but if I wasn't have a Chris, I will definitely consider to get him. Like by the way, we forget to mention, he also have amazing aura, 60 accuracy, all better, right? Like 60 accuracy is very solid number, so you can help to build your team high resistance, enough resistance for the Hydra or even himself. He's a budget Chris, I would like to say, not V6. I don't know you guys ever used the V6 on the Hydra, but the V6 has one problem. She has a provoke, right? 3 turn cooldown, so she has to be fast. She has to be enough accuracy. She's casting decrease speed, right? But the decrease speed skill also casts an early protection. And this is doing nothing else on the V6. So when the Hydra attack you with the AoE attack, she's gonna die because she's gonna absorb the damage, and there is no way she's that tanky. I mean, maybe you can build her very tanky, but it's gonna be super hard, especially you are aiming high speed as well. But this dude, he's casting increased defense as well, and he's have a self heal, ally heal as well. He's casting shield to himself too, so it's definitely gonna get some damage reduction against because he's gonna take extra damage from the early protection, like a Krisk A3 casting increased defense himself, and his A2 casting continuous heal buff himself, so he can recover the damage he taken. V6 cannot do that. V6 doesn't have this kind of abilities. She only have early protection, and she's just gonna get a one shot because of that. But yeah, like I said, this champion gonna be very solid on Hydra. Again, if you guys need help, I hope you guys not skipping that. I don't need it, so that's why I'm skipping.
Okay. Nacho, what about you?
I think this question is dumb. Every champion is better for an early game account than it is a late game account. Like, you can name any Lego in the game, and it's going to help an early mid game account more than an end game account every fucking time. So, next, this is an end game champion. You're doing Nightmare Hydra, Brutal Hydra with it. That's the most end game PvE content we have.
Okay.
So end game.
End
He's an
game.
end game. Like,
Okay.
straight up. Like, just because you guys may not use him on your accounts, again, does not make him not an end game champion. He is perfectly Nightmare viable, and that's instantly end game. Boom. It's all as simple as that. So, there you go.
Okay. So I think he's more mid to late. I wouldn't say end game, especially because now we kind of have confirmation that the Infinity comp team isn't going anywhere. And so I think that's going to, take up everything right now. And people are going to try to build those teams out as much as possible. But I would say definitely a progression champ if you're early. But
They definitely did not say that the Infinity team's not going anywhere, by the way. They said they don't have a patch for it right this second, but they are
Just wait.
definitely patching it.
Just wait.
It's absolutely going away. Like,
Just wait.
they're not leaving it.
Just wait.
Already talked to other CCs about it too. Like,
Yeah, there's a high chance. I can't confirm it, but there's a high chance.
like it's going away. And they confirmed on the Discord with an announcement that they are removing it.
They said they're going to look into fixing the issue. They're not going to remove the team itself.
Right.
So-
Which could be various amounts of things. Like,
Right. But the team composition itself, the way it's set up, is not going anywhere. They're not going to alter those champions. Those are going to stay the same way. So let's take another second here to acknowledge some of the chat. Welcome to the stream, Sir RMC. Welcome to the stream, Mad Malika. And yes, if you have gotten your fusion up to par so far, just DM me the Discord and DM me your details in Discord, and I'll take over the fusion. Why not? All right. So far, fusion is going to be beneficial for, mid to late game players. End game players probably not. They've been probably playing for so long where they have better champs on the account. But it might make, a hard or brutal team. So let's talk about the champion they dropped on us this week. That was Mr. Sun Wukong. Man, I didn't even wait the day. I just got him right away and started play testing him. Went into arena, was like, yeah, he's definitely meta changing. At least for me, I'm envisioning him just taking UDK out. Stone Skin's not going to be a problem anymore. Necret's not going to be a problem anymore. So I'm curious to see, what do you guys think? Do you think he is a meta-changing champion? And I'll start this off with Nacho.
oh, of course. Of course he's meta changing. It's the first champion in the game that can turn somebody else into a sheep. Like,
Okay.
to say he's not going to be meta changing is ridiculous.
Wow.
He also
He still requires accuracy, right?
So what? Like, that makes it better, actually.
Well, that makes it that you have, if somebody's got like a 7 or 800 resistant Duchess or whatever, or UDK, which can be built, what's he going to do if he can't
Right, if you
get-
make every ability on every single Lego champion not resistible, then you get sheeped on his A3 every single time. You can't
Yeah.
target the accuracy threshold that you want to target. Right now, I can target nuker thresholds. I can target light support thresholds. I don't need to target Duchess. Stuff
Fair
like that. So you can actually meet meaningful stats. Making things irresistible is not always a benefit. Like, even close.
Fair, but for me, the biggest pain that I've always find is UDK, and I think
Okay, so do you want to just trivialize every single champion, like Necrit, Duchess, Mortu, everybody? Like, if there's no counterplay to the A2, he ruins the meta too much. Like, this is the balanced way to do it. If you can just instantly sheep every single UDK you ever see, he's never a thing anymore. He just completely goes away.
and I agree, but I'm just saying, like, there's
Well, defenses are already at a disadvantage in every situation.
right. So defensively, he is going to take on every team you have, and it's not going to be an issue. Everybody's going to be pushing with him. On
He's
offense.
in your offense.
Yes.
You're using him against UDK, is what you just said.
Yes. Defensively,
So-
he's going to ruin any defense you have. And if you go,
Right. If you make his A2 not resistible, you can't counterplay it, is my point. It's much more balanced to make it resistible. Significantly more balanced.
right, I understand that. I totally get that. But I'm saying is there's still some room for things to change. With UDK, it's basically you still need to have the resistance and accuracy checks in balance for him to, kind of
Right, which is good. Making it
Right.
irresistible is not good.
Right.
So what are you getting at? Because that was your point, is that you said, well, it should be not resistible.
Well, yes. When I first saw it, I thought it should not be resistible, and then I play tested. I didn't realize that having him not resisted or having it irresistible would break the game, would break him, and would make him even worse than UDK was when he first came in.
Yep.
Okay, Kempachi, what about you?
I mean, whenever we read his skill kit first time, it's saying like his A2 cannot be blocked. It's saying, but it cannot say cannot be resisted, right? So I asked the player, what is the cannot be blocked means? Is that mean can we ship the stone skin? Then player confirmed that I literally right away just quickly made a video, meta changer coming, like because you can turn, let's say 6-piece stone skin, right? Duchess, Ultimate Death Knight, or whatever the name, or maybe Duchess with the neck red protection. Let's say match beginner and neck red protected Duchess under 6-piece stone skin, she's gone. Just delete the game, if the team doesn't have Ultimate Death Knight. And people saying like, I see some videos after we see him, people said Ultimate Death Knight dead now. No, Ultimate Death Knight your only protection against him. Ultimate Death Knight, like, let me give you guys one experimental. On the live arena, I was trusting my Ultimate Death Knight 6000 defense and 100k HP, 6 piston skin and the 3 reaction accessories. And Georgette just used his A2 skill, I think. I have no idea, I don't have Georgette.
A3.
He hit my reaction and he killed my Ultimate Death Knight. After I see that, I said, why I need 100k HP, why I need a 6000 defense? Ultimate Death Knight still doesn't need a speed, so still give him a 6-piece stone skin. It's gonna protect him anybody else beside the Georgette, and let's just boost his resistance. That's what I did. I just give lots of the resistance on him. So if the enemy team is a Georgette, he already killed him anyway, so that's not gonna change. At least if you make your Ultimate Death Knight resistance, it can also protect you against the Ukko. Ukko doesn't have a high accuracy. Obviously, like, people still can use an increased accuracy champion, etc, etc, etc. Accuracy versus resistance never be fair, to be honest. But yeah, Ultimate Death Knight gonna be your only protection against the Sun Wukong. If you resist the Sun Wukong, he cannot do anything. He cannot turn anybody's ship on your team. He can still strip your rest of your teammate buff. He can place a block buff on them. But yeah, gonna be meta changer, but I feel like meta gonna be change resistance Ultimate Death Knight. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. So you're saying Ultimate Death Knight's still here to stay. We're just gonna, instead of boosting the 6-piece stone skin, we're gonna be doing like a 4-piece with a high-end resistance.
I mean, you don't have an option, like, you can still, okay, let's say you are going to remove Ultimate Death Knight, you are going to place Wu. Are you going to make your Duchess high resistance? Because you have to do something high resistance. And if your Duchess is not starting the game before the Sun Wukong, which is she's not, she's Go second champion, Sun Wukong can choose X champion, he doesn't need to target your high resist Duchess. He can target your, I don't know, like another champion, Necret maybe, or I don't know, DPS champion. He can remove their buff and next time they can just one-shot them. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I do see an issue if the UDK is taken out of play, then Taras kind of falls off the meta in my opinion, and then Rotos comes back in, and then we're back to where we started, 2.5 years ago.
That's fine, actually. So that's a healthy meta shift. You rotate into old strategies that worked before against other things that worked. This is how metas shift appropriately and new things happen. If you don't ever reach these, which is where we've been for the last year since Taurus and Marishka came out, you just get stalled out. Like, our meta literally hasn't. You could run Plat this week and it'd be the same as it was 6 months ago. Like,
I mean, almost every online game doing that. They are keep changing the meta. If something is broken, they are nerfing that. If something is very bad, they are buffing that, and people are playing different stuff. Like, this is how is that stuff working. But this game, yeah, they Taras Marcha.
Up until then, honestly, though, you had a really good rotation of meta going on up until Taurus came out, and the way that he impacts offenses to hit defenses is stupid. He's just straight ruined it.
Let's just face it, the meta with Raid Shadow Legends is how much you're going to spend to get the next OP champion they have.
I mean, not exactly, because the OP champion was Rotos. The OP champion was Mortu. The OP champion was Astrolith. These aren't like they rotate. Like the bomb team, for instance, came in because Mortu became meta. Okay, you have Roannis became a meta nuker for like 3 months. He was one of the top nukers to fight with. You know what I mean? Like these are healthy rotations that happen. We haven't had that in a long time though.
Yeah. Let's go with Gestal. What about you?
Man, I love Sun Wukong. He has been helping me tremendously in Live Arena against those lovely, oh so lovely Helicath teams. I just slapped down those stupid Hellcats, and game over. I love them, man. I seriously, I've been pulling them in. I've been leaving. I've been coming in. I've been going to live arena matches with one revive. I bring him in because I know he's coming back after 3 if he drops. And it gives, and I'm always got like I feel like everyone in freaking Gold 2 is Hellcath. Everyone. So this just like shuts those stupid comps out. And I've honestly, I mean, granted, I got Taurus too. I got Taurus a couple of weeks ago, and oh my god, that dude's a game changer. But I went from basically not being able to move in Gold 2 to now almost 100 points into Gold 2. Because I would say mostly because of Sun Wukong. He's been amazing. He's been awesome. The only thing I can't stand though is that he's stealing buffs and not cleansing them. And you can't steal the stupid perfect veils off the duchesses. Man, that's so frustrating. I'm like, it's broken. Why did they still got the veils? It's the whole point. I'm trying to get rid of those.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's all good. I guess it's kind of smart, right? It'd be too broken, maybe.
Okay. Horde Spore, what about you?
I like the fact that you can pretty much turn anybody into a donkey or sheep. Donkey. Yeah, that's gonna be the next meta. Turn people into donkeys. That'd be have a swamp faction.
Man, do I have a guy for you? Oh man.
Yeah, you can have a swamp faction and everything, and have the swamp thing and Shrek be the donkey.
Okay.
I do run double UDK and Helicat just for Gestal, just in case I run into him. I'm just gonna put that out there. And I also have Sighting Wukong, so it'll be fun. Just ultimate revive, defense, till one of us gives up. And yeah, I just think they should make more factions that you could sheep people or turn them into whatever you want.
Okay. Jay, what about you?
Yeah, it's just his kit's so viable for many things. You know, PvE, PvP. He's one of the first revivers that doesn't like have a passive. Well, it's a passive, but it's not like a 3 turn like a Bushi or something else. It just keeps happening indefinitely. So I love multi-use champions where I could build them as a nuker, or I could build them super fast with high accuracy, or like a in between, right? I love that, man. To be able to build a champion multiple different ways and still get really good usage out of him. Plus, this kid has everything you need: strips, stuns, sheeping. Like, what more can you ask for? Like I've actually stunned 2 different targets of how fast I built him. I stunned after stripping them. I stunned 2 people, so now I'm fighting 2 people who can't take turns and 2 people who can. So it's a 4v2. It's super strong champion, man.
Yeah, as a support, I think 100% he is one of the best ones in the game. He's definitely changing the meta. Like I said, I love using him, and I haven't pushed plat in a couple of weeks, but I am planning to today, and he is being rebuilt for this. So yeah, before we get on to the next point, let me acknowledge some of the chat. Phil, thank you for joining us on the stream. Haas, thank you for joining us on the stream. Olong T, thank you for joining us on the stream. Joe, thank you for joining us on the stream. And Dazed One, thank you for joining us on the stream. Guys, if you don't know, Dazed One is a content creator over on Twitch. Make sure you guys go follow him there and subscribe to his channel. Really great guy to hang out with during his live stream. So, all right. So let me ask you guys, I'm pretty sure I know what the consensus is going to be for this, but are you building him as hybrid, nuker, or are you building him as pure support? Let's throw this to Jay first.
I've gone for high speed, high accuracy, and high resistance because I'm going to be using him in Hydra. but I also wanted him to be able to sheep people. And you know what was really cool about sheep we didn't talk about? You can't really control their turn meter, right? So if like you sheep someone, they're about to go, they get out of sheep. But the moment they get out of sheep, right, they lose all their buffs or whatever they had, and then their turn meter's back like 0.1. So like, yeah, they have to go right back up. So if you bring someone like with AoE decrease speed or like CC, like you really can control people. They're wasting in a turn in a sense and all their buffs. So I use him that way because they never have buffs. Like he's always stripping, always blocking, or if they do somehow get a buff after they cleanse or something from like a Mithral or whatever other champion, doesn't matter. They get turned into a sheep. They get back out of that sheep. They have nothing. So that's super really good. I love that, and I try to get him over like 300 speed. It's kind of hard, but I got him close to it, so I'm using him that way.
Okay. Horde Sport, what about you?
I haven't really built mine for anything. I just like the fact that he's high accuracy and speed in arena, turning everybody into, I almost said donkey again, but sheeps. But he pretty much cancels out Lydia's block revive. When you go to revive somebody, you just shape or revive anybody you want. She's kind of useless against him now.
Okay.
Everybody usually brings her in when you have a reviver because they're like, oh, we'll just cancel the revive. Not if you're a sheep. No power.
No.
And a lot of people, I guess, might not know that if you do sheep Lydia, that her reverse revive will not work.
So with him, even Lydia will only actually block the first revive. So 6 turns after.
That's not what he's saying. He's saying if you sheep Lydia, then her passive doesn't work like everybody's. Like if you sheep somebody, their passive doesn't become active.
Right.
Not when she's dead. He's saying if she's alive and you sheep her.
Right. Well, when you sheep anybody, none of their skills cooldowns reset and none of their passives work. So, but when Sang Wukong comes up, she'll only deny the first res, and then every either 7 turns or 9 turns after. But yeah, quick thing before I forget, because he keeps mentioning donkeys. I don't know if you guys have seen the commercials for Raid. But there was one commercial that I was watching with who's the champion? He's Sacred Order, the guy that we get from Doom Tower. Archmage Helmnet, where what is it? Elhain and a couple of other champions are all trying to attack them, and he's polymorphing them. So
turns him into a teddy bear and everything.
Turns him into a teddy bear and everything. So I'm wondering, maybe he might be getting a rework soon, or could that be them telling us that they're going to turn polymorph into teddy bears or something like that? I don't know. We still have quite a bit of space left over on the what's it called? Blessings that we can do, right? We still have this whole area down here where it's locked, so maybe we'll have a blessing polymorph. Who knows? Let's go with Gestal next.
Yeah, just speed and accuracy. I'm only using them in PvP right now. I don't see him really using them anywhere else. I think it'd be fun to use an Hydra, but I don't want to. I'm gonna use them in PvP, so speed and accuracy.
Okay. Let's go with Nacho.
I'm probably one of the only people that built him hybrid, but on smacks like a truck.
Okay. And what about Kenpachi?
I mean, you guys know he's a A2 multiplier, right? It's I think a 5, and he's ignore 50% target defense. It's really make me sad whenever I build a champion speed and accuracy because I want to make him hybrid. But there is no champion in the game, at least for now. Casting, he's attack champion, right? So you need to increase attack on your team. So you need to increase accuracy so you can make him hybrid. And you also need to fill your turn meter. Yoshi can do both of them, but Yoshi cannot fill the turn meter. Lady Kimi can boost turn meter and then increase accuracy, and Arbiter only for the increase attack and the boost. But maybe we are going to mention soon there is a one champion coming in the game can do all of them. So maybe if we manage to get her, maybe we can make him hybrid, because I really want to make him hybrid. But right now, speed accuracy.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, as for myself, I have him really fast. I think I have him at like 315 or 320 right now in Relentless. And just like 600 or 700, I think I'm at like 600 accuracy right now. And I'm planning on pairing him against, planning on taking him against the slower comps and using my Yoshi with him to give him the increased accuracy. But before we get into the next part, Nick, welcome to the stream, sir. Thank you for joining us. And I don't think I missed anybody else. I'm trying to keep up with chat at the same time. So now let me ask you guys, are you booking your son Wukong? And I'll start with Nacho first.
Yeah, he literally doesn't work unbooked. You're gonna not AoE full strip. You're gonna not full place your fucking debuffs or your buffs. Like, come on. Like,
The AoE strip does not need books.
yeah,
It's on
your
a 4-turn
A1
cooldown.
your A1 needs debuffs, but you're gonna make your cooldowns longer. Nah, no chance.
I don't know. I
No.
don't see it. The books are all damaged, but
You put him in Relentless so that you could rotate faster. If you just booked him, he wouldn't need Relentless.
no, I put him in Relentless so I can go into the A2 and then A3
Oh, where you
afterwards.
could get a cooldown? Like doing that later in the fight has no value. You don't win fights in one round anymore. That's not how this game works anymore.
Unless you have a double Taras.
No, even then you don't win in one round. Like Stone Skin, boom, you don't kill me. Like double Taras doesn't nuke my Duchess.
Turn him into a donkey.
There. All right, Kempachi, what about you? Are you booking him?
I already did. He's obviously I need to make a content. He's also very solid champion. Definitely deserve for book. Obviously, book is for cooldown reduction. His skill already 100% except the A1 skill, which is A1 even worth the book. Very high chance of placing stun. Short-term terms, yeah, definitely worth the book. But if you have a better alternative than him, really depends your account. Maybe you can start booking them already because, like I said, his skill you only need to book him to reduction the cooldown, which is big, but depends on your account.
Okay. Let's go with Gestal. Are you booking him?
Yeah, I mean, anyone I'm using in Live Arena, I'm booking, so he's booked. Just to get the full use out of him, get those abilities up as often as possible, I think.
Okay, so
I think you gotta have it. What's that?
You're booking him on your main account? What about your ult?
Alt. Nah, I haven't even built him on the alt. I don't. I don't know. Resources are thin there, man. I'm working on an unkillable nightmare team, I have a killable Ultra Nightmare team on Clan Boss right now, so I've been working on Emic unkillable, and I'm leveling champs up that are taking priority right now, so he's just chilling.
Okay. Let's go with Hordsport. What about you? Are you booking him or no?
I have like 100 other champions to put together at the moment. Like, he's on the list. He will be booked eventually, probably not this year, but I just use him for donkeys pretty much.
Okay.
Just for fun.
Okay. Jay, what about you?
You know, I love 133 champions, and if you fully book him, he becomes one of those. So I'm gonna definitely save myself, 100 or 200 speed consistently. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna fully book him.
Okay. All right. Yeah, as I said, for me, I mean, I tried them both booked and unbooked. I booked them out for the damage test. It was decent for an early game nuker, mid game, but nothing for a end game.
Mine splashes 600k. Okay,
No.
my A2 splashes 600k.
On what? Gold 5? Or plat?
I hit a Harima with it and splashed 600k.
In plat or gold 5?
In Silver 4 Live.
Okay.
A Harima's a Harima is a Harima.
Okay.
Like, they're not all that different.
One Ocarina, two Ocarina, three Ocarina.
It's like a champion can't be used if it can't be used in mid late. It has to only be viable for end game. What is this game?
I'm just saying, like, yes, gold 5 arena, he's going to be a great nuker, but when you start moving up,
I never
players-
talk about in terms of gold 5. Come on, BLAZIN. Come on. Nobody cares about gold 5 arena. That's not a thing. People care about 3v3 and live arena. Like, and 2 people in the world care about plat. Like, Those are the only conversations of PvP there are. Gold 5 is never, ever in the conversation.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, like I said, I did it on my alt account, which, you know, I stripped the best gear that I had off everybody.
How much attack and crit damage did you have on him?
I think I had like 270, 280 crit damage with 6,500 attack at like 200 speed. So, you know, it wasn't like I gave him his due diligence. I did, you know, everything that he deserved. I even tried him out in Clan Boss and in Hydra. So
I had 7k 290 crit damage.
Okay.
And that's what he does. He's
Okay.
crazy.
Again, I was also trying him in Plat, which is, you know, the full, you know, what you can fully maximize him to do. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll do some more testing with him and I'll change my mind. So, I don't usually ask this, guys, but if you are enjoying the stream, please make sure you hit the like button because we're getting into the next segment, which, oh man, is going to be a hot topic. And we are going to start talking about what Plarium told us is coming this week or next week. Mythical Champions. Now, shard-wise, what do we think of the shard? Yay or nay? Jay?
I think it was a little too early. They could have probably waited till like November, December, where people would have maybe be more willing to spend, but maybe they wanted to get it out sooner to get it kind of like get people ready for it for the holidays. But in my opinion, like, man, I would have rather hear news about the new clan boss, like you know, like the new next to Hydra, like the, you know, Seroth or something like that. Like champions were already working hard to get our faction guardians fully done and plussed up champions, new type of champions. Like, oh, I was just like, bruh. But I mean, it is something unique to the game. I just hope that they don't, you know, they're probably going to pay well, but I hope it doesn't too aggressive because we know that this game is very aggressive. So I think it seems like an interesting concept of having like these like void-esque like god champions that can do more. Maybe it's necessary for the end game boss. Maybe that's why they're releasing it. But I still think I think it's still a little too soon.
Okay. Nacho, what about you?
I think they're fine, honestly. Yeah, this should be fun.
Okay.
Every single shard in the entire game is paywalled. Okay, so if you don't like paywalls, don't play the game.
Fair.
Voids are paywalled right now. The problem we also have in this game compared to other gacha games is we don't have a counter to voids. We're literally missing a whole pool of champions to counter voids. Voids are very imbalanced right now. So, yeah, I think they're fine, to be honest. They're not mythical rank. They're only mythical rarity, which is something to remember. Like, we aren't getting rank 7 champions. These are just rank 6 champions with a bunch of abilities.
True. Kempachi, what about you?
I disagree to Tool. Again, we don't know too much detail about them, but first of all, yes, maybe it's gonna take ages to get a good champion, or maybe make them +4. But playing the game, like literally from the clan boss Ultra Nightmare, you can get a secret shard, you can get void shard, you can get engine shard, and there is a chance you can get a good legendary champion from them. Are we gonna get them from the Ultra Nightmare clan boss mythical shard? I mean, I don't think so. I also don't want to believe that, but do you guys remember what we talked last week? I said I did every in-game activity, pushed really hard, which is day was very hard, and I able to get only 60 prism shard, which is 10 prism was coming from the previous event. So I got 60, I have a 70, and guess what? I didn't manage to pull for the Duchess prism pool. And it wasn't guaranteed Duchess by that. There is lots of the trash liquid there as well. So the game doesn't let me to open even one prism shard for this Duchess pool without paying the money. And now we are talking about mythical prism shard or
Which
whatever you
was
call
the
it.
first time. You can't say that that is every event that they've ever done. That's like literally the very first event that was paywalled.
Well, there's been more that they've
No,
paywalled. They've
no.
made
Everything
fusions.
has been able to do free to play. Every
They've
single
made
thing is able to be completed free to play. Every fusion and all of the guaranteed champions that they've put out there, all of it. Name one event that
I
was
don't
not able
think
to
you
be
can do all of
participated.
them without saving your resources between them.
That's not the point. The point is that you could participate in
Yeah.
any event that you wanted to as a free to play. Participating in
True.
every event is not ever feasible. They are, at this point, they have upticked events to a point that you have options. Okay, if they reduce options, like if you have a single day where there's not an event live, the community freaks out. You have to have something running every single day.
Yeah, I agree with that. But let's let Kempachi finish his thought.
The point is, I'm trying to say, I don't think even we do in-game activities or doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure we are not able to get enough quartz, which is you need 100 quartz to get one primal shard to pull your primal shard, which is there is a chance to get. I mean, it's a leaked information; it's not confirmed yet, but there is a chance of to get rare, epic, legendary, and mythical champion. And getting mythical champion is obviously going to be very hard. Maybe we are going to be able to get enough primal quartz to get a primal shard, but I'm thinking it's also leaked information, not confirmed yet. This mythical champion need mythical tome, mythical book, and also mythical soulstone. Either one of them going to be paywall. Even we are able to get mythical shard doing in-game activities, pushing ourselves very hard. It's not going to be easy. One of them going to be paywall. I'm pretty sure about that because like there is no way they are going to do it like free to play. Maybe they are whenever the event is started, first time they released it. Hey, mythical. To not take it too much attention, they are going to give us like one mythical shard, so everybody going to pull that. But that's going to be only one first time. That's what I'm guessing.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree, and I have some other questions we'll propose to you guys, but let's go with Gestal. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. Anytime you hear about new champs, obviously it's exciting. They look really cool, being able to morph and have extra abilities, so like a kind of a support side, attack side, like kind of two different variations of one champ. Tons of questions come up that for me though, because that's all we basically know at this point. You're gonna need new books for that, which is you're gonna need new books for all the abilities that have double the abilities. It's already really difficult to get Lego books at the moment. So that's, one piece you gotta also think about. Yeah, but it's all about how they're gonna set this up. Like, is it just gonna be getting quartz from maybe this new the whatever, the Great Void or whatever they have? I don't know. You said a name earlier. I don't know if that was the name of it, JR. But like, will you be able to get fragments or these quartz from there to then get 100? Are they how are they gonna implement it? Basically, in general, how is it gonna be getting these champs and not? I don't know. I'm like, I don't know enough to really get one side or the other like upset or excited. It's obviously always cool when new champs are coming in, so I'm super fired up about that. But then, the obvious question comes out, like, how hard is it going to be get them, and like, are you really ever going to have a chance? Like, that's the part that makes me nervous, I guess, without spending money, of course.
Okay. Portsport, what about you?
I had a lot of things to say about the mythical thing in the stream last night. Was like everybody's thinking like, okay, like why are they including rares? Like it should be like sacreds when they include a legendary or an epic. Mythical should be mythical or legendary. And I was thinking about it. I'm all like, that's not a bad idea, but they never said it was going to be the rares that are still in the game. What if they come out with the whole mythical faction where they have mythical rare, mythical epic, mythical legendary, and they have their own mythical faction instead of making any other rares mythical? What if they just have a whole new faction that's all mythical characters because nobody's brought that attention up. And I'm all like, that could be a thing because there is one more faction that's not on the board yet. So they might actually do that. Because why would you? Oh, I pulled an apothecary out of a $200 shard. It's like, why? It doesn't make
Because
sense.
Plarium wants to.
And then you have the soul stones and everything, and then the books are going to be an issue. So are they going to revamp Clan Boss and add new rewards? Are they going to update the market to even void shards be available since they're adding more shards to the game? They're adding more content to the game. They're going to have to add more resources somehow, or else, a lot of people I could see drop off.
Yeah. Jay, what about you?
Well, I did give my piece on it, but
Oh,
I did.
right. I already did. I ask.
I
you?
did think
No.
about something. Yeah, you did start with me.
Okay. Sorry.
Remember when they had empowerment before when Faction Guardian was coming out? They released a red sacred shard originally, and people thought that was gonna be the way to get like dupes, right? Because everyone was like, "Oh my god, dupe Shadow Legends! This game's gonna be dead." Blah blah. Red stars, all this stuff, so. But like, what if we have to take multiple sacreds and fuse them, and that's how we get mythical or these primal shards, right? Which would then need mythical tomes, mythical soul stones. But maybe that's one way we can get it, and then the other resources we have to do like tournaments and events. So hopefully it's something like that.
Okay. Yeah, so I myself have a lot of mixed feelings on this. And, one of the things that somebody from my community mentioned to me said, why do we need these new primal shards? Why not just do something with the 50 vault champions that I have that, I can't use, right? But real quick, for everybody that hasn't already seen this, we did get this dropped on Twitter, right? So long ago, Teleria stood united against the shadows. Now it's the realms, lies, blah, 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 blah. But what this is basically going to tell us is that on Tuesday, we have something dropping, which is what, kind of coincides with all of these, little things that we get from the snippets from the rest of the content creators. But I think what's going to happen is we're going to get a different level of maybe Hydra, because they said that PvP was going to be the thing of this year. So I don't think they're going to try to overshadow that with any other content. I think what they might just say is, here is Ultra Nightmare Hydra, and you'll be able to get these fragments for the crystals from there. That's just what I'm currently thinking and currently hoping for. But I may be wrong. Real quick, let me just acknowledge some of the chat. James, thank you for joining us. Riley, thank you for joining us on the stream, guys. I appreciate you guys so much. So let's pop the shard and let's see what we get. For anybody that hasn't seen it already, it's from the Hell Hades one, because I think that one looks the coolest, at least for me. But the first thing I want to get to is the metamorphosis that they're going to have, right? I mean, I think it looks cool, but is it needed? Do we need these champions to have two different types of skills? Or could they just have just a way better skill kit, right? I'll throw this to Nacho first.
I don't remember this entire kit, but to be honest, I don't think a lot of their abilities were really that crazy. Some of them can do cool things, but they weren't really out of what we have already. They've just kind of combined what we have into one champion. So there's like several effects into one, which is fine because those effects weren't being used before, and so now they are viable because they're put in combination. The metamorphosis itself, it uses their turn, doesn't it? So like they change and then they don't do anything else.
Yeah, I
So
get an extra turn.
It gets an extra turn. So you can metamorph and then you can go back into picking another ability.
Gotcha. But yeah, in general, I don't think most of their kits were really that game breaking. Like the one puts Unkillable on himself for 3 turns. It's not even your whole team. Stuff like that. So yeah, I think they're fine as is. They're obviously they look scary, like every single new thing that comes out. But I don't think they're gonna be as bad as people think, honestly. Once we start playing with them more.
Okay. Okay. Let's go with Kenpachi next.
I think this is the first mythical champion they are gonna release on the game, because if you look to the Twitter teaser video, there is a Secret Order logo lit at the top of the building, and he's from Secret Order. So that's what I'm guessing. I don't think they are gonna release all of them at the same time. I think they are gonna release this champion. They are gonna make his event tournament or sell his soul, whatever shards, and they are gonna keep adding them on the game. Especially considering like a big content creator teasing the champion, I think in 2 day, right? In 2 day, September 5. I think we are gonna see more detail about him maybe, or he's coming to game already. We don't know. About his kids, to be honest, I agree with the Nacho. Like, some of them abilities are not that broken, to be honest. Some of them doesn't deserve the mythical title, I would like to say. But most of them passive skill is very unique. This champion passive skill, if I'm not mistaken, like place a block damage himself when he about to receive the fatal hit. He's not gonna take any single damage, and it's gonna fill his tormentor like maximum with the full HP. It's just basically whenever you try to kill him, he's gonna get a turn and attack you. So that's gonna be annoying. But again, like consider the booking him, stuff like that. Booking all of this skill, I believe we need to book them separately. You have a 2 form, every one of them is a 2 form. It's gonna be lots of the money, to be honest. But of course, we know people are spending crazy money on this game, so they are gonna just make them maximum on the day one, or I don't know. But yeah, he's cool. He's not my favorite, I would like to say. There's a better than them, but he's cool, yeah.
Okay. Who was your favorite?
My favorite Fox Lady. I think because her A2 ability attack 2 times, she's ignore everything in the game. Like strength, stone skin, melee protection, shield buff, and she attacked 2 times. And if she managed to kill the target, block revive. Like the only target, she cannot kill the Taras, basically. Like.
So it has nothing to do with her legs.
No comment.
Okay. Gestal, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I kind of I don't see like why people are getting super upset. I guess maybe they feel like it's just going to be a big money grab. I agree with these guys. I don't feel like they're like super meta changing. The other thing I meant to bring up earlier is how do you build these guys, right? Are they going to have like 2 sets of you're going to be able to put 2 gear sets on them? For when they switch then switch to like an HP build from a defensive build or attack build to, a support build. Like, how is that going to work? And if that's not the case, how the heck do you build these guys then? It'd be almost near impossible. We're just complaining about trying to build Sun Wukong, who kind of can be built in a couple of different ways. Like, so there's a tons of question marks. So. On all on these mythical champs, but I feel like I don't think they're gonna come in and just be like, whoever's got a mythical champ is gonna be plat 1 and top tier in live arena, or putting up the biggest numbers in Hydra. But I don't know. I'm optimistic.
Okay. Hortspur, what about you?
Yeah, I did bring this up at a few streams yesterday about Mythical and their whole polymorph. It's like, does the polymorph have like, obviously it has a cooldown. Is there a chance that they can't polymorph? Like if they get feared or if they fail to polymorph, do they turn into a sheep? Like, I mean, it is technically an ability, right?
Okay.
Can it be prevented from changing if you like put fear on them or put them to sleep or something like that, or does it cancel everything out?
If they're under CC, they can't take actions. Like that doesn't change anything. Like it's still
Yeah.
all your normal game functions are gonna apply to these. They don't just like ignore stuns and ignore sleeps and stuff like that. Like if you lock them out or you have them slept or something like that, they're not gonna be able to use their abilities. They're still gonna get sheep the same way if they apply a debuff on somebody, some stuff like that. So
Yeah, I figure since it's the whole new mythical thing, and they're technically, I guess, supposed to be better than legendaries, I thought they might give them more favoritism and more
I
abilities.
mean, if they
than
were
just
immune to
regular.
something effect like that, we would already know that. I assume.
Yeah.
Like if they were immune to being cheaped,
Yeah, that's true.
it'd be a massive
That-
selling point, to be honest. So
Yeah. Yeah, every endgame well out there would be spending, remortgaging the house. Jay, what about you?
Mythical champions are very unique. They're like taking multiple different champs, fusing them. It's like, okay, you don't want to empower your champs, cool. We're just gonna take multiple champions and add them into one, and then give them like another stage, which I think is cool, metamorphosis, and then you get more skills. The only downside is that they're most likely going to have these type of champions. So what they're gonna probably be watching the meta, right? So like sheep is going to be popular. So I wouldn't be surprised in the future if they will release a champion who's immune to it, right? Not now. There's no point. But I think it's going to be cool. I've always had trouble even with Legos booking them all. Like even when I first started, right? Like you save, yeah. But they've been dumping out way more, right? We have more 10x's, more 2x's. So for someone who spent over 80% of their most of the money that I spent in raid goes towards books, right? Just to books. So that's the only thing that concerns me about these champions is that maybe finally will there be a way to get like tomes that we can farm instead of spending. But other than that, I like the champions. I think they're cool. It's all how they implement them, and I think each one's gonna be very unique. Probably one can't be ever burnt. One can never be stunned. One each one's gonna have its own uniqueness to it, and you're gonna have to fiddle around with it and play test it and find out unique strategies with the mythical champion. Or if you have multiple of them, then it can be a really crazy team. What I'm crazy about is in the future when we all have just teams of mythical champions versus mythical. That's just gonna get crazy. Like so many things are gonna be happening on the screen. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you got Noro too. He's immune to 5 different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. All right, so there hasn't been confirmation yet, but we do know from some of the data mining that this primal shard is going to have epics and rares in it, and depending on the difficulty of how we're gonna get these champions, I could see Plarium saying the RNG for this is gonna be a 0.1000% for you to get one of these champions, right? Just to really make it a whale war. How do you guys feel about the champion pool having epics and rares for this primal shard? Let's start this with Jay.
So when it comes to rares and epics, the one thing we don't have that a lot of people have been asking for is empowerment. So it'd be cool if these rares and epics would be kind of like a very unique, like a shadow version, right? Why can't it be like a shadow Apo to carry and it comes with a passive? That'd be pretty cool. In terms of it just being the regular champion and just blocking you from getting anything that you're looking for, it's kind of like prism shards, just a way to pull more of these, try to go for more of these to increase your chance. Overall, I think it's kind of right from the get-go already, having that. I think it's a little too much. Maybe they're gonna try it out, see how they always do is see how the community takes it. If they don't like it and it has a huge backlash, they pull off on it. But overall, it's like we already have too many things that has rares. We have misery shards, we have ancient shards. We have voids that have rares. Why do we need more prism shards that have rares? Why do we need more shards that have rares? I love my rares. I have a lot, actually. I have 4 Painkeepers. I have, Reliquary Tender, Seducer, but, I don't want more. And I don't think most, unless you're early game, you want more. So unless they're special in some sense or have some sort of more power that you can't get that's rare anywhere else, then why? You're just blocking the chances of getting something better. But hopefully, it's just not normal like Prism.
Yeah. To your thing, Jay, I mean, Playums already came out and said we're not going to get any more like Cold Hearts or, Reliquary Tender type rares. So, I think that's pretty much what everybody's hitting on right there is like, but let's go with Nacho. What are your feelings on it, my man?
So obviously this one's hard to answer because we don't know the rate at which we're getting these champions. The one thing that we can compare this to though is the rate at which we get void Legos. So you get between 2 and 4 void Legos a year, depending on if you go to Mercy or not. You get roughly 450 void shards, and the average for a Lego is 130. So you're getting between 2 and 4 every year, roughly. We're gonna get less than that of mythical champions. So 1 a year is probably the pace for free to play at best. Maybe even 1 every 18 months. So depending on how fast we get them, I don't think it's really an issue as long as they meet that threshold that they're caring about how many you can get per year on your account. So I think if you can get 3 or 4 per year, it's too much. Like you're gonna break the game so fast. Or sorry, well, you have the potential to if they release a lot more other champions. Like I said, a lot of these champions they have really cool abilities, like the one when he revives with block damage and stuff. But like we already have champions like Rodos that are doing very similar things. If you don't like, we already have a lot of effect. Like he takes a turn, he loses his block damage, stuff like that. So at the same, so as long as they meet the pace at which they're trying to get these champions and people's, I don't think it's a problem really to have rares in the pool. I know a lot of people are going to complain, and the fact that it's regarded as higher than a sacred shard, and then you also get rares is kind of a kick. Like you can make the rate appropriate without rares in there, flat out.
Yeah. Kempachi, what about you?
I actually got a surprise. We are getting rare champion. I mean, it's still not confirmed, but there is a chance of getting rare champion on the Prism Primal shard, whatever you called it, and it's give me that idea. Maybe it's not gonna be hard to get this kind of shards. So what I'm trying to say is, from the secret shard, for example, you cannot get a rare champion, right? Because it's harder to get a secret shard, but most important, you have a high chance of getting legendary champion on secret shard. That's why we are not getting rare champion there, right? Maybe it's gonna be obviously very low chance of getting mythical champion from the prism shards, but maybe we are gonna get more prism shard compared to the secret shard. That will make sense. We are getting rare champion from inside of it, but if we are not gonna get a Primar shard that often, or if it is impossible to get as the free to play, and you're still getting a rare champion inside of them, that's totally garbage design if you're asking me. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be high chance of getting a mythical champion. I believe they are going to be like, so right now it's 0.5% to get legendary champion from engine shard, right? If there is no 2x, so it's going to be lower than that. We all know that. So lower than 0.5, what? 0.1%? Good luck, guys.
I'm telling you, 1 in 1,000. 1 in 1,000 is what the chances are going to be. But Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, it's I think Kempachi, I think he's saying the right thing there. If you're gonna get rares in them, then they're probably gonna be a little bit more like blues or voids than they would be like a sacred, so they might be a little bit more accessible. Let's hope that's the case. 1 in 1,000, man, that like blows my mind. I feel like you're not getting one.
I mean, how many ancients do you open a year?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're right. I mean, I probably easily open
This is where
1,000,
the whole
2,000 a
pace
year.
thing comes in my opinion.
Yeah, and
like,
then then they're looking for money, obviously, but and we have to see how it goes. I guess like it's fun to speculate, right? But it's I don't know. We have to see how they do it because it could be good. It could be I don't know. I think they got to do pretty much. I think what Nacho said. They kind of got to stay even, or people kind of freak out. They also don't want to flood the game with these guys too. So it's a difficult balance. I think anytime you introduce some sort of paywall or a way for the pay to winners to kind of to spread out, the doomers come out and start saying it's the end of the game. I can't tell you how many freaking video titles I saw that with that on this weekend. I'm just like, is it clickbait or not, man? Do they really feel like this is the one thing? I've heard this 100 times about this game, and it's all come out to be relatively well balanced. So I would like to think they'll kind of stay par for the course here.
Okay. Did Madcapper actually quit Raid?
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
I didn't watch the video.
in terms of playing his main account and taking it serious, yes, but he started a free to play and he's trying to play it more casually in that sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he just went free to play, like the rest of the whales that are like, no, we're done with this. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, he completely quit his account and is not playing it anymore, and he's starting a new one from scratch.
Well, yeah, I mean, every content creator has their 2023, 2022 series of free to play and stuff.
Yeah, but they all have mains still. Like, Hades pulls shards on his main every single time. All those things.
True. All right. Hordesport, what about you? What do you think?
I mean, like I said, I think the new shards, it's about time that they did come out with something new other than same old, but are they going to be more accessible? Like, obviously, we can get voids, we can get sacreds, but basically only from either buying them or doing clan boss is the only way. You can't even get them in Hydra. You can't get any shards in Hydra, I'm pretty sure. So are they going to add the primal shards to Hydra? Is that going to be a new thing for the update? Could that be like the shard that you could get once a week, maybe? Or are they just going to strictly have it for events and tournament base and just top 10 people out of 100 on the global will get it only? Or there's so many things that could happen that nobody knows for sure. And like I said, if they're going to have the rares and epics and everything, it might be their own faction. So the rare might be a mythical rare and mythical epic. I mean, it's not impossible to have a mythical faction. It's very possible they could do that. That's probably why they have the rare in the shard pool as it is, because it might just be a whole new group of clan, or what do you call it, faction.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the books and everything, like you transform, are you gonna have to book their regular form and book their second form too?
I think we might have to. That's going to be an interesting one there. Yeah.
So they're gonna take like 30 books instead of like 6 or 12.
I mean, we don't know if each one's going to take 2 books, if they're going to take 6 books apiece, but each skill is an individual skill. So it's not. It's like literally like A1 through A8, something.
Yeah,
basically.
Could be like 50 books.
Right, but we also don't know if we're going to be able to like book one form and then book the other form, or if we're going to have to book both of them at the same time. We just don't know. So.
No. Jay, did I already ask you?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So before we move into the next one, let me just acknowledge some of the chat guys. Sacrifician, welcome to the stream. Hant, welcome to the stream. Smokey, welcome to the stream. And Time Twin, welcome to the stream, guys. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you guys. So we're gonna get into the whole booking thing. We're gonna getting into the tomes, mythical tomes, right? They scrolling down a little bit over here. They're going to require mythical tomes. Now, I guess everybody's complaint is we don't have enough legendary books. And before Nacho says, how many champ trainings have you done? Let's be real. Even if you do every single champ training, at the rate that we get legendaries, there's still a lot of them that are vaulted because we can't use them because we don't have the books, right? They're gated.
Oh, if you had more books than champions, you'd complain that you didn't get more champions. Like, you're going to get gated on one or the other, always. You would much rather always have champions than have extra books. Waiting on champions sucks. Waiting on books is easy.
No. I think if there's a healthy balance, okay? On average, I tracked it and I did a video on it. On average, what you get is about 12 a month. And that's including if your clan boss is really lucky and gives you about 5, and that if the shop at least once a month gives you 1 from the clan shop, along with getting that 1 from Tag Team Arena. And we all know that Tag Team Arena is not an easy one to do, right? So at best, you could get 12.
You also forgot Doom Tower.
No, well, yeah, that's including Doom Tower at best. Like, if you do everything as an end game player, myself, at the end of every month, I can usually score about 10 to 12 if I'm really lucky with some, clan boss drops, I might get 15. But now tell me, how many champions can you book with 15 legendary books, right? 1,
2,
if you're lucky.
Average. It's 2 on average. The last fusion was 8. Emic was 8. Molly was 8.
Okay.
They're releasing less book fusions over and over and over again. And if you're skipping fusions, then you're not booking them. And yourself, you even said you don't even need to book champions like Ukko, so you should have extra books.
But fair, right? But what I'm saying, what I'm trying to make the point of now
the point is like no matter what, there's never a balance. Like you're always going to say, well, now I have enough of everything. I'm just going to stack books. I need more champions now. Like the argument literally just flops. If you have more books, then you have more champions.
There is over 700 champions in this game. I have a pretty decent catalog, and there's a lot of them that are sitting in my vault because I can't. I want to use my Basilius Veranus, but I can't use him because I can't book his A2 or A3.
That's a lie. You don't need that book. You're not going to book Wukong, but you're going to book Basilius.
Well, yeah,
you're just making inconsistent arguments now.
No. I want to be able to use them for a showcase.
He doesn't even get a cooldown from his books. At that, he only gets 25% damage.
Exactly.
Wukong gets 20% damage on his books.
Right, but Wukong is more of a support for me, not a damage dealer.
You need the cooldown. Which means you need the cooldown.
If you want to, yes. Depending on what team you're going to build around him.
If you want to participate in plat, you need him booked. Flat out.
We'll see. We will see. We'll be pushing tonight. We'll see how that works. But
the other point is, like, if you give too many books too fast, your account progresses too fast. And then, like, they have a pace that the game is played. Just because you don't like the pace that they've chosen, there is a pace to the play, regardless.
I get it, but there should be some sort of way, like, again, allowing us to farm books in that we need. Like, we're sitting... how many champions do you have in your vault right now that you would want to build that you can't because you're gated behind not having any books?
1.
Bull. You need to tell me that everything else you have in your vault is either garbage or you don't want to test or play with, and they're fully booked?
1.
I don't know about that.
I'm not lying to you. Go ahead, tell me. I have a 250 mil Nightmare Hydra team. I have a 350 mil Brutal team, a 250 mil Hard team. What the hell do I need people for? I literally hit global rankings on global Doom Tower turns if I wanted to. I farm every single dungeon in 2 minutes or less, including Hard Fire Night 10. What champions do I need?
That there's no one else in there that you want.
There's literally 1. I booked my Wukong. I booked my Emic. Like, there's 1 Shamrock. That's it.
Okay. All right. I'll be signing the divorce papers soon, just so everybody knows.
Two Christmases.
So let's get back into the question. Now, we already know that, again, legendary books are hard to get. How hard do you guys think that these are going to be to get? Because we don't even know what they're going to be gated behind, right? We don't know if it's going to be a Hydra, if it is going to be the Dark Void. Maybe they start releasing them in tournaments. It looks down here that says mythical champions or the fragments for the shard are going to be primarily available via the summoning from primal shards, which also raises some red flags for me because it doesn't say only, it says primarily. So I'm anticipating that, there's going to be here by this champion, or maybe we're hoping that it's a fusion, but we'll have to see. But we'll go ahead and throw that to Nacho first and see. Do you think the books for this is going to be a problem? Are you okay with having another tiered book in here?
I'm okay with having another tier book. I also don't think it's going to be a problem because of the pace at which we get them.
Okay.
So if they make them, I also want them to release the Great Void. I want more content in the game, believe it or not. So I would hope they put it in there, whatever they do. It's that or Ultra Nightmare Hydra. We absolutely know they're gonna put it behind something harder than Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, because bots farm Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss.
No, they'd have to make it like a 500,000 team for Clan Boss.
Like they have to gate it behind end game content, so early game people can't just get a mythic champion and make the account worth thousands of dollars. This is exactly what it's going to be, especially in the early times. So I hope they do the Great Void. Honestly, I think this is one of the best times for them to introduce it. Then they can make it super hard. So excited.
Okay. Kenpachi, what about you?
I mean, they are new rarity, right? It's called the Mythical, but at the same time, I want to mention something. We have a hard dungeon now, and we still getting 5-star rare. Excuse me, like why? Like, please, like, are we gonna get Mythical dungeon soon? And we are gonna get a 5-star epic there? How is that gonna be work?
They are scaling them up to 25, and there is that. They do have plans to scale them up. Wait, sorry, not to interrupt you.
So, this champion right now, I don't know you guys check their skill kit or something like that, but they are not game changer champion. I mean, they are obviously like really broken, some of them, but we already have a broken champion, especially for the arena. Like, if you asking me guys, Taras, Maricha, Georgette, they are definitely mythical tier. Yeah, they don't have a meta form. They don't need a meta form. I mean, why you need a meta form if you just kill the enemy team, right? Why? Like, what you gonna do? You know, are you gonna celebrate yourself, turn yourself to the donkey and celebrate your victory or stuff like that? You know.
Donkey cover.
Yeah, they obviously doesn't only need a mythical tomes, by the way. They also need a mythical soul stone, and I bet mythical soul stone also gonna give you rare champion. So yeah, it's getting legendary book on the game is already super hard. I mean, Tool said like he doesn't need a champion the book because he already have pretty much every single champion already book. So of course it makes sense for him, his account. But yeah, getting this mythical book, I'm thinking that's gonna be pay to all, but we will see. Yeah, it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be cheap. I have no idea about price of the legendary book right now, but they are gonna be probably twice as expensive or maybe more. So yeah, that makes sense. They are mythical champion. They are not legendary. You know, you cannot book your legendary champion with the epic book. So you cannot book your epic champion with the rare book. And obviously that makes sense, but obviously it's gonna be hard.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I think the first thing that came to my mind was when I saw the kind of metamorphosis and like a whole nother string of abilities pop up. I'm like, oh my god, that's books. So it makes you a little. It makes me, I guess, a little worried. You know, but it really, again, implementation. Like, how are they going to implement all this? There's a lot of new resources they're talking about. Where are they going to put them all? Hopefully, it's not behind a paywall, man. I mean, if you can earn them the way you're earning them now, obviously it'd be better to you'd want to get more. You'd like to be able to earn more. Like if it was even just double out of Ultra Nightmare, like I feel like things would be maybe a little bit more balanced, as you were talking about before, BLAZIN. But you know, if they just kind of keep to the script and you know, with these mythicals, with the books, as it is with everything else. You know, it might not be the end of the world. And again, it's going to be super hard to get them anyway. So, like, if you're able to get the books, you probably only be booking one anyway, right? So, it should play out fine, I think. Okay. And the big spenders are going to spend the big money anyway, and they'll spend I think it's 25 for a Lego book, so what, 50 for a mythical book. But the people out there be spending it.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like, last event, they had, what was it, the Prism event? You couldn't even get an, even if you did top out all the events, couldn't get enough to even pull a Prism when they minus whatever they did. You had to pay to actually pull on that event, which is kind of bad.
Yeah, I think you could have earned like 60, and then you had the 10, so you would have to buy 10, I believe, at that point. But
Like they should have just kept it at 20 just because you got rid of the rares doesn't mean you're raising the price of the shard. I mean, they're still the same shard, same odds and everything. I mean, it just turns into a Lego, legendary or epic.
yeah. So Hortzbo, what do you think about the book situation?
I think they're gonna probably take the whole epic books out of the clan boss and everything, and probably put legendary or mythical, and probably put the epics for lesser CBs, so other clans start hitting other CBs now that we get us one click and be done in a second. I think it's going to encourage other clans to start hitting all clan bosses if they don't already, instead of just throwing keys away pretty much. Or even the Dark Void. It might be a whole new clan boss, hopefully. And the old clan boss might just become nothing. People might just not do it if the new thing is an updated clan boss for Dark, what is it? The Dark,
Dark Void?
whatever. Yeah, the alien looking thing. Looks like could be a new clan boss, and if it produces just as much as rewards, who's to say if people are going to keep doing regular clan boss or just put everything into the void, or if it's going to be two separate keys, just like Iron Twins. I don't think it should cost energy if you could only do it 6 times a day.
No. Okay. Nacho, you got something you want to say?
Nope.
Okay. I keep seeing your hand go next to the mic. Jay, what about you?
So we do still. I don't know if you guys have been checking the Hydra timeline, but they actually skipped one of their phases. They were supposed to release the Thunder Hydra head because they showed it off in one of the thumbnails that they usually put on their websites, or maybe on Player and Play. So we missed that head. That's supposed to be like a lightning or stun head, and we got the Hydra clan
Clash.
Clash instead, which was actually supposed to be after that head. So we should be definitely getting the head next. What am I saying? Basically, is that there's 2 more heads, and of course we're getting a new difficulty as well with the new head, which is Ultra Nightmare. What I think they're going to do is pretty much allow us, maybe, hopefully, this is not confirmed, but maybe we'll have a chance of getting them from Hydra in the high ones, like the high-end Hydra. Kind of like in Clan Boss, you start getting Sacreds as you get deeper and deeper to the harder difficulties. They're going to start giving you a chance of getting them there. Once players start getting the champions, right, I think you're going to be able to farm the books once the Great Void comes out. Because let's be honest, it's going to take a long time to even get a mythical champion. So there's no point even having the books if you don't have the champion. So it's probably going to be paced kind of like Raid, where you get tons, well, we're not going to get tons of mythical, but you get champions, and then over time you're going to use those champions in that content preferably, and then you'd be able to book them there. That's makes sense to me. Hopefully they do it that way, and it's not just all just gated stuff through tournaments or paywall. But I think that'd be the most, you give me the people who are doing the most end game content anyways, or late to end, and getting the stuff that they might need for the extreme end game content. So I think hopefully they do it like that. But hopefully in the books as well, if I have 2 A1s, hopefully it just goes both and not just 2 separate A1s, because Metamorphosis just sounds like a stage. It's the same champion, so hopefully they do it like that as well.
Yeah. So I really hope that it's only booking once and you don't have to book both Metamorphoses if that's going to be if that's going to come into play. I think that's going to be absolute ridiculous. Because going by just what Nacho said about 8 books on each champion for the past couple of fusions, if you have to book both of them and each one of them's got 3 or 4 abilities here, you're talking 16 books, which who knows how
But
long
if you
it's gonna
get 50 books a year and 1 mythical champion a year, it's not a problem. This is
right,
the point.
but they're not gonna yeah.
Like, if the
Assuming-
mythical champions are super rare, you're always going to have enough books for the next one you get.
I
if you make
don't.
the point.
The strategy behind Plarium is not give you more books and less champions. It's give you more champions, so you buy the books.
Well, you want the other way around, so
No, I want a healthy balance. I want to be able to.
it's
If
not
I
a
wanna,
healthy balance. You're never going to have an equal amount of both. That's not better. You actually want more champions in people's hands so they have reasons to keep playing. They're like, "Oh, this is what I'm going to do next." You need to get more champions in people's hands.
Listen, if I had more books, I'd play test and mess around with more champions. I wouldn't be like, "Ooh, who do I gotta?"
If they gave you more books and less champions, you wouldn't have any champions to book.
No, but listen, if I'm getting a constant, like if I know I'm gonna get like 20 legendary books a month, right? Then, or maybe 25, like that way I know I'm pulling an average between a fusion and every other shard event that we do for the fusions and stuff. I'm pulling 2 or 3 legendaries a month. I can't use some of them, or I'm forced to have to use my books on some of them because I need to do the content for it as a creator. Some people don't use them.
Their pace of play comes in. They want us to play at a certain pace. And that's the whole point. The game is slower for a reason, and it's a pace that they set. We have to participate. So no matter what pace they set, you're not gonna like it.
I don't know about
is
that.
what that comes down to. That's what happens in every single one of them. Like people say, like when there's not a single event every day, there's 100 Reddit posts. Oh my God, there's no event today in Raid. And then every single other day, people are saying, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff to do in Raid.
Correct. There is so much stuff to do, and I think the so much stuff, not getting too far off the topic, is just the dailies and all the stuff that you have to do to be able to maintain your account to, progress it.
Too many good 10x's, I hear. Too many good 10x's. Too many good shard events. Too many good guarantees. I'm like, are they supposed to do bad ones?
Well, why not? Why have so many events like
so
that?
If you have no events, then people complain that there's no good 10x events.
No. You do a 10x. I think the every other weekend that they've had for the shard events, again, not trying to go too far off the topic here, I think those events are fine every other week. But do we need to have like 3 during the week? Like, come on. I think that's too much. That's completely being greedy right there.
You don't have to participate, though.
You don't, but the FOMO that they present you, like the champions that they put in, everybody is like, oh my God, I need them.
And to get back to it, like you have to participate in it. Like no matter which way they give us more champions or more books, you're gonna complain.
No, if I got a few more books, I would be happy. Like when I got my Newt, I couldn't fully book them because I didn't have enough books.
And then when you're all caught up in 2 months, what are you going to do? Because I had 80 Lego books before one of these CVCs. I just booked 8 random champions.
Dude, no. I have so many champions in my vault that I would love to book and play test and do stuff with, right? There's so many in here.
And creating extra things is not the pace of the play of the game. If you want to do extra things...
I would love to use my Genzen, but I can't because I don't have books for him.
It's right? Because you booked somebody else. Like, because you want to book Roannis and stuff like that for no reason.
Yeah, I want to book Roannis.
You want to book your Astrolith for no reason.
I didn't book my Astrolith, let's be real. Astrolith...
But you talked about booking her, the one podcast, that's why I said it.
I talked about not booking her.
No, you talked about booking her. You said that she was worth books, but that Ukko wasn't worth books because she has damage on her multiplier, even though damage doesn't affect her bomb.
Which podcast was that one? Because I'm going to go back and look, because if that's the case,
go look. Go look. This was 3 weeks ago.
Okay, I'm going to have to go back and check it out and watch it.
Can I change the subject real quick?
Yeah.
And ask my question? Like the Jay mentioned earlier, they skipped one of the head. I wonder, is there a reason? Of course, there's a reason. So we know there is one more head coming. We know there is Ultra Nightmare Hydra coming. We know new Columbus is coming. And I don't know if you guys remember, but the Heart Dungeon bosses has one new passive skill. Do you guys remember that? Which one of that?
It's the most pay-to-win thing they introduced in the game because of how much mitigation it gives you. And extra damage.
Awakening weakness. So I don't like to give them idea, but what about the new content we're about to get has mythical weakness?
Oh boy.
Oh.
Kenpachi, you're gonna get an email tomorrow asking you to go work for Plarium. they have your offer right there. There's the check right there yearly. Just throw the ideas out there.
I will accept, by the way.
The only thing is you won't be able to be free to play anymore.
I can make an account.
All right. So, one of the things I do want to quickly touch up on is that the Metamorphosis is not going to be able to go on cooldown. And what do you guys think about that? Good, bad? It's basically going to mean when they bring in a mythical champion, your Yumikos and Warlords are not really going to be useful, or even your Bashers. So, real quick, we'll start with Jay.
That's really weird because it's hard to get these type of champions, and I don't mean by mythical, I mean like Warlord, Yumeko. So imagine if you spend all this time during 10x's or spending money to get them, and they do a lot for you, and then you have to fight this because that sounds like a PvP type of like passive effect, right? Unless there's going to be boss like Iragoth the Eternal Dragon, unless this new Great Void or whatever that's coming, unless it can actually do that would make sense, right? But in a PvP sense, it's like, man, that's what their roles for these type of champions is, to lock people out. I mean, yeah, you can still use Warlords A2 and heal and Yumeko, but let's be honest, mainly people use it for locking out. So if you can't lock them out, that's a huge turnaround. You have to, build around going, not, doing that, going first and locking out, doing something totally different, or maybe stunning or whatever you can do. I wouldn't say it's concerning. It's unique. I definitely think they should be powerful because they're not just like champions that were ranked up right from the ranks. Like when you in each faction, they're like kind of like demigods. They're like huge. They're like Lumaya, but not astral in a sense. I think it's powerful. It's very powerful. I think they should have powerful passives and things like that. But that one I was surprised about. I was like, whoa, there hasn't really been any champion, or most bosses, of course, are immune to like block active skills because that's a balance for the game. But like someone who's just immune to all that, like all the time, that's kind of weird. So we'll see how that works out.
Okay. Hordesport, what about you? What do you think?
I think they're gonna release it pretty much as is until the community starts giving them backlash, and then they're gonna try to please them, and then the other half is gonna be upset about the changes, and it's just gonna be same old, same old. Somebody's gonna be happy, somebody's gonna be upset, somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, it's a will war," and you just can't please everybody. I mean, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Do what you can. They're not saying you have to. Oh, you want to play Plarium? Okay, $25 membership just to get on now. And every week, if they did a membership, they could even do like weekly rewards, guaranteed. You get this many shards, this much energy. You pay a monthly fee. Like that could be different. But if you don't want to get the champs, don't go for it. Simple. Don't want to do the event because it's too many points? Don't do the event. I mean, half the people that skip fusion skip them for the fact that you can pull them animation shards. I mean, that half the time I skip a fusion is because you can pull it. Now, if they went back to how they used to make the fusions, where that's the only way you could get the fusion, I could see people paying more like they used to. But now that almost every fusion they come out with is pullable, I don't see a reason to doing half the fusions anymore if you could just pull it from a shard half the time.
Okay. Quick question for you. Are you applying for a Plarium job? I mean,
never
both you and
again.
Kenpachi are giving them ideas right now where it's like, yeah, let's set up a subscription service for $25 a month, Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, weekly rewards, guaranteed.
Okay. Gestal, what about you? What do you think?
We're talking about the morph, right?
Yeah, the morph not being, not being able
You
to.
can't lock out
increase
the
or-
morph.
Yeah. I think I mean, they're really I can only think of really one counter to like a warlord Yumiko scenario, right? And that's basically having a super high resist Kaimar and then being able to refresh your whole team after you've gotten locked out. So to add like a true counter to that, I don't think is really the end of the world. You know, these guys, how many of these are we going to really see? We probably won't even start seeing them for a couple months if they drop on Tuesday, unless there's, you know, I don't know. Yeah, there'll be a couple whales that'll get them and stuff. So I think, I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think if you're going to have the mechanic, like, right, is it going to work like Warlord locks you out? And then instead of like, obviously that your morph isn't going to be locked out, so you could just swap into your other form and you'll still have your abilities up. I think that's kind of cool. It's kind of the first true counter to these guys. I mean, you know, Yumiko and Warlord been running the show, man. So bring them a little something to counteract it.
Okay. Let's go with Kenpachi.
So Warlord Yumiko cannot place a Metamorph skill on the cooldown?
Correct.
Is it what you guys saying?
I
didn't know that.
Not the school, not the
No,
cooldown.
the
Metamorph
Metamorph itself doesn't have a cooldown, so you can't put it on cooldown. So they can swap forms at any time.
Are you guys sure? Because in the my screen, it is a 4-turn cooldown. It show.
Yeah, it has a cooldown. You just can't increase it or decrease its duration.
Oh, I see. Rest of the skills still going on the cooldown, right?
Right.
But if you switch your form to the second form, that skill are not on the cooldown.
Correct.
I see. That will be cool, but at the same time, like, what do you guys thinking about the team setup? I mean, like AI, like how we are gonna set up your AI. First of all, like, can you choose which form you want to start? Because like if his first form is suck, I mean my bad. If his second form is suck, and on the defaultly, if you start him with the first form, and if the Warlord plays your skill on the cooldown, changing your second form doesn't really make sense because your abilities on the second form is suck, right? So I wonder how are they gonna do that? Maybe they are gonna change some UI there. You know, they are gonna choose which form you want to start the first. That will make sense. That's cool ability. I like it, to be honest. Like it's kind of unique. More counter to one of the best CC in the game, Lokat champion, Yumiko Warlord. They've been metal very long time, and nobody can do anything about them. You know, like they can even bypass the stone skin. Like enemy team has a stone skin, so what? Just look at them and kill them slowly. So yeah, it's cool.
Okay. Nacho, what about you?
Yeah, big fan. Lockouts have just been rampant in Arena forever since the game began. And the way that accuracy resistance scales, it's impossible to resist an endgame lockout. It's literally not possible. At 800 accuracy, you need like 1050 resistance to get a true 3%. Like the way the scaling is not linear. You don't always just need 70 more resistance. The higher you go, you at 650, I think you need over 800 resistance. And the problem is the breakpoints at which you can reach these numbers. Okay, so like 600 accuracy is basically trivial. It's not even a thing. You
can also use increase accuracy buff.
You can also use increased accuracy buff. All the increased resistance buffs are garbage. You can't put anything on before the round starts.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. You're in a go second situation and they're in a go first situation, and you can't use your one thing that can save you. So the way the resistance scales, it's just completely busted, and that's why lockouts have just always been the absolute most endgame thing that you can run in Arena, and because it catches like every single thing you can possibly imagine. So yeah, it's great to have more counterplay to that. I think it's absolutely healthy, but it's only going to be good if you can pick a form, like Kenpachi says, I think. Because a lot of these, you're really, especially specific defenses or offenses, like you're only going to need half of their kit. Like the one has unkillable on the one side of the kit, but doesn't have it on the other, for instance. So
interesting.
If you swap, stuff like that.
By the way, can I say something really quickly about the resistance?
Yeah.
I've been using Resist champion for a long time. Even lots of the people saying your touches is suck, it's a wrong build, stuff like that. I still like my resist ledges, but I totally agree with the tool. It is resist versus accuracy totally not fair. Especially there's a champion in the game, 115 base speed, Lady Kimi can boost your turn meter, strip the enemy buff, replace it with the block buff, and cast the increase accuracy buff. So they recently released an increased resistance champion, but it doesn't make sense because resist teams are go second team, right? So my idea to Pilarium, please do that. Like Beauregard, for example, Dwarf Legendary Champion, right? Rework him, give him passive skill, hegemon passive skill to him. Start battle first. That will counter them. Then you can cast your increased resistance before the enemy team take a turn, and there you go. You want a fair fight? That's the fair fight. By the way, it's still not going to be fair because you can farm perception gear every single day on the faction war, while you can farm resistance counter-attack gear every 3 months on the rotation 3 Doom Tower, which is, are you gonna farm Bomal or are you gonna farm Dark Fae? You have to choose that.
Dark Fae.
Dark Fae.
Hey, yeah.
Dark Fae. All right. So last question. Where do you guys think we're going to be getting these primal shards from? What do you think? Content-wise, they're going to do it. I mean, I'm sure they'll probably do some through some events with like 6,000 points for like a, spider tournament, or 50,000 points for some other, whatever. But where do you guys think we're gonna get them in game from? Just content. Let's go with Jay first.
They might do it like high up. I don't think so. Remember, these are primal shards. They're like, think of them like sacreds. You don't see sacreds in tournaments. It's very rare. You see relentless gear.
Prism shards.
You see prism shards, true, but
You're gonna have 100. You're gonna have 100 primal shards to create the mythical crystal. So
Quartz, primal quartz.
primal quartz, yeah. You're gonna have 100 primal quartz to create the prism or the primal crystal.
yeah, if it's like a fragments, right? Like in fragments of a primal shard, and you have to get those, then they could do it like that, little bits by pieces. Then you can fuse it, kind of like I was saying, fusing sacreds. You can fuse these primal fragments and turn them into a primal shard. Then that's a little bit more likely that they'll put them in tournaments and events, kind of like prism shards.
Like a fragment of it.
Exactly. But then once again, it just becomes another version of prism, just with better, mythical champions in. That's basically all. You have prism shards and you have primal shards, which are almost the same. The only difference is one's a higher tier champion.
Kind of like Hydra did it with the Mythical. Every week you got bits and pieces to make one champion, and you get 100 of them, you summon a champion.
Yeah. So they might do that. Like I said, I was hoping that they would put these into Hydra, because like most early game, and I mean, as much as we would like that, we already know how powerful Legendary can scale any account, because they just have higher base stats than epics and rares. But like if you by saying that they have rares in these primal shards, that makes you think, well, no one in endgame like Hydra, like Nightmare or Brutal would be happy getting a rare from that. Like no one would. So it makes more sense maybe now that maybe they would be putting it in tournaments and events or normal things that we participate in raid, and you have to get little bits, but it takes forever to get like these bits, and after maybe a few months you can finally get yourself a primal. That's what my thoughts.
Okay. All right. Let's go with Hordespore. What about you? What do you think? Where are we gonna get them?
I think that they're going to be doing something with the token trader. That's probably going to be something they haven't done anything with it at all since it came out. So I think they're going to probably do some type of form of legendary crunch where you can start crunching champs that you don't want into shards. Like if you crunch a legendary, you'll get like a half a shard. If you crunch an epic, you get like 0.3% of a shard, and then the more you crunch, the more you accumulate to shards, and that's another way to get rid of it. Because if you can't empower an epic, which you can't do anyway, I'm pretty sure we all have a couple hundred in the vault just sitting there, either to level up later on or just never to use again, just taking up space. Start crunching epics and rares in order to, you know, open up new shards and power up new things. I mean, I bet you anybody here have any Guardian Ring rares? Probably not. So
I
what,
don't
mostly.
know. I don't. Oh, sorry. I have 3 here, which I don't know why. Let's take those out real quick.
I mean, the fact is, once you get even mid game, like you're gonna take all your rares out. If there's a champion chase coming up or whatever, champion training, you're gonna take those out so you can feed them to an epic or a legendary. I mean, it's facts. You're gonna level them up and use them as food. You don't really do that with legendaries unless you have 8 newts somehow. And then you're like, well, +4, why don't I use the other 4 and run a 25 shogun in 8 seconds? It's like, okay. But yeah, rares are the only place you're going to use a rare team is Doom Tower. Like the rare room, that's it. You're not going to use them anywhere else.
Okay, so you think we're gonna get them from the token trader?
I think Token Trader is going to have it updated, and I think it's about time. It's never changed since it's been out. I mean, not saying that they've come out with stuff and never fix it. I mean, yeah, there's no bugs in Plarium, right?
All right.
I don't know any
Everything
games that
works
have any
great.
bugs. Every game is perfect to a T.
Yeah.
Let's go with Gestal. What do you think? Where are we going to be able to acquire these shards and fragments?
My first thought was they would open up the Great Void, and that's where it would be. But I think after hearing the thoughts about with the new Ultra Nightmare Hydra, that could potentially be a slot for it as well. Yeah, it's probably gonna be. I would imagine it's gonna be one of those 2 places, if not both, maybe.
Okay. Okay, so Hydra or the Great Void. All right. Kenpachi, what about you? What do you think? Where are we going to get these?
I'm thinking more simpler. I'm thinking like gonna be like Prism. They are gonna be part of the tournament and the event. We are gonna get their quartz slowly, and we are gonna open them whenever we have 100 of them. They don't like us to save our resources, guys. Between the fusions, they are gonna do some kind of the event. Obviously, you need to still push really hard to get these fragments for this event. They are same difficulty as the fusion. Last Prism event was like that. So they don't like the save us our resources. Between the fusions, they are gonna do them, and after the fusion gonna start, you have to use your resources there. Then the Prism, then the Ultimate Death Knight second birthday is coming, stuff like that. So that's what's gonna happen.
Okay. Nacho, what about you?
Personally, I want to only see this from Nightmare Hydra and Ultra Nightmare Hydra content or higher. Like,
Okay.
I don't want this accessible to super early people, to be honest. Like, I think this should be end game content.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go with what James just said. When you open up your shop and you go into packs, there's going to be an extra one right here. $600 for 1 shard, and I think that's where we're gonna get them. And then they'll do a monthly one where you can buy 3 for $6,000. Just so you can go and remortgage your house, right? But no, in all seriousness, I think the best place for it right now, because I don't think that they're going to release the Great Void at this point in time. They haven't hinted at it. But as Jay said earlier, that other Hydra head, I can see us getting a Ultra Nightmare Hydra. And you know what? I wouldn't be upset if you could get a few of them through completing your keys through Hydra, right? So if you did like your clan boss or anything like that, just like they gave us the Mithrala fragments, I think it would be great to see them do that for the primal shards. And I mean, I think it might actually push more people into doing the Hydro Clash, because that's what the big thing has been this year, right? Now, could it be possible that they do it and throw it in live arena as like a reward for that, because it is supposed to be the year of PvP, We don't know. We don't know. We have 2 more days to find out, and I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of fun when we find out, and we're gonna have the people that are yay for it, and we're gonna have the people that are nay for it. But we will see. Guys, it has been a wonderful 2 hours. I enjoyed talking with you. I enjoyed talking with the community. I enjoy texting my attorney, telling him to file the divorce papers for me and Nacho. But
I love nachos.
real quick, where can everybody come and find you guys? Let's start with Jay.
JR Star 3, Twitch, YouTube, pretty much any platform. Those are people know me most by.
Okay. Nacho, where can everybody find you, sir?
I'm NachoPlays 50 on YouTube and Twitch, and every Sunday on the Teleria Night Show.
All right. FinalKenpachi, where can everybody find you, sir?
And FinalKenpachi, people can find me every single day at the Columbus Reset on the Twitch. I'm also making YouTube content. Raid content on the YouTube with the same name.
Okay. Hordspore, where can everybody find you, my man?
Yep. Twitch as well under Horrid Spore. There's nobody else with my name, so it's pretty easy to find. Or you could even go to Gestal's. You'll probably see me howling around in there. I pretty much do that to everybody, but I'm mostly hanging out at Gestal's channel. Kind of one of my favorites.
Okay. And Gestal, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, Gestal Gaming on Twitch and YouTube, man.
Okay. Do you guys have any plans for the rest of this week? And what are you anticipating coming up, Jay?
I'm still going for the Fragment Summon as we speak, working on it, and just making sure I can do every single event. And next week, just clenching myself, my butt cheeks, hopefully this Mythical Champions rolls out nice, But yeah, I'm gonna be working really hard the next 2-3 weeks.
Okay. Hordsport, what about you?
I stream basically daily, and I might go for the champ if I get bored. I might see a good pack offer, but lately I just been buying energy. Ghost shards, I just hoard them from Clan Boss. It's not that hard to build up a whole pack of shards from Clan Boss anymore. But I say if you have an unkillable team, you don't need to buy shards.
Okay. Gestal, what about you? What are your plans for next week?
Yeah, still working on. I'll be working on the fragment for both accounts, the free to play and the main account, and a lot of live arena, man. Love the live arena.
Okay, Kenpachi?
I'm working on the Dragon tournament actually right now. They released a skin there called Art Skin. She's hot, so I'm gonna try to get her. I'm skipping the fusion, so I have to use my energy somewhere. So
Okay.
She's hot because she's on fire.
yep.
Okay. Nacho, what about you?
I have like 5 more full account rebuilds to do this week, so we'll be busy.
Okay. Myself, I just gonna keep pumping out content. My vacation's over, so I'll be heading back to work on Wednesday, and gonna be working on something big for next week for the community. So, shout outs. Let's start with Nacho.
I'm gonna shout out my dogs. I don't have kids. I don't have a girlfriend right now. Nothing. They're a lot of support to me, and really, I hope you guys have somebody that supports you, whether that's a dog or somebody like that in your life, because it's important. So I'm definitely gonna shout out my dogs.
Emotional support, one of the best things you can have. 100%. Can't disagree with that. Kenpachi, final shout out.
I like to shout out the content creator who join us, our friends with us today, and the people who join the chat. They are awesome. Good shout out for them.
Okay. Gestal, shout outs, please.
Shout out my man Basher Kass. Just got in the CC program this week, I think. Great streamer. It does tons of help with account takeovers and super smart in the game. Awesome dude. So go check him out. BASARCOS on Twitch.
Okay. Hortzfor, shout out.
Not really sure. Don't really know anybody in my area. Just basically talk to everybody that comes by the stream, or if anybody does. That's how I pretty much get support. Is talking to others, meeting new people is pretty much the easiest way. And yeah, talk to whoever wants to chat. Do it daily, and probably be here next week too. But yeah, I stream pretty much every day. Like sometimes I'll stream too much and pull 30-hour shifts. Gestal tells me to go to bed.
Yeah, that's definitely not a good one. Jay, shoutouts.
I want to shout out Daniel Bulldog. We've been working on his account. He's a pretty crazily invested account, but it's kind of crazy with a great reset when I talked about Artifact Ascending and people who can come into the game and within a few months they're already like literally endgame. You know, when you got double Acrisias, double Cardials, you know, it's pretty insane. But yeah, we've been working on his account a lot and getting it really like pretty much set up for the future. So
Okay. So my shout out's gonna go to somebody who's kind of left the community a while ago. And you know, I've dropped some DMs on him, haven't heard back, which is a little concerning, but it's gonna go to the Saffron Man. You know, he's been out of the content creation for a while. But just know, man, you know, some of us are still here, some of us are still thinking of you. Hope everything is well, and you know, we're be more than happy to have you on the show and chat. So I'm hoping everything's going well for him. So, as always, guys, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other. We'll catch you guys on the next one.